Hey guys, so by the title, you can tell that I'm coming with kind of a sad video. Um, on May 23rd, I did give birth to my little girl, um, and this is my birth story. Um, so I woke up to go to work, and it was about 5:50 in the morning, and I was feeling some pain, but it wasn't really like it just wasn't that bad. It felt like some cramping, but I wasn't sure what it was. By the time I got to work, which was probably around 7 or so, it was excruciating. Like the worst pain you've ever felt, but like 10 times worse. It was bad. So I basically, long story short, I told my guy that I was going to the hospital. One of my coworkers was like, "I really think you're having contractions. Like you should go like now." And then I finally got to the hospital, and they basically told me that I was 3 centimeters dilated, and that the baby was she was right there, right at the edge, and the contractions they weren't that bad at this point. They were kind of waning a little bit. We were evaluated a couple of times. We saw the baby. She was in there. She was alive, but I was already in labor. I mean, there's really nothing that we could have done since then. And they said I was essentially in slow labor. So I was going to have a bunch of contractions, but they were going to last like a long time because I just wasn't dilating fast enough or whatever the case may be. So I decided to go ahead and try to induce, to just get it over with. The crazy thing is the hospital gave me a Kindle Fire. They were passing around. I got some really good food. They just were really taking care of me. It's a really great hospital. And I just felt fine. I felt good. Emotionally, I was a wreck because I just knew this was it. We weren't sure how long things would go because they were saying since she's so tiny, it really is just like we don't know if you're going to be in labor for 5 minutes or if it's going to be hours. So it was so scary. Let's just say it was literally, it wasn't that long at all between the time that I took the medicine to induce to the time that she came. So I basically took the medicine, and my nurse was like, you said the pain's not really that bad. Let's just hold off on it. You can walk around, and then when you feel like you need to, get some pain medicine going, you can ask, and then we'll set it up for you. Which was a bad idea. Like, bad. Um, I was already 3 centimeters dilated when I came in, so I feel like I had dilated more since I was there. We didn't do any more, checks just to make sure that, I didn't get an infection or anything like that. So I just think I was dilating and I wasn't even knowing it. So I took the pill, or I took the medicine. 10 minutes later, I walked down the hall and I walked back. And in that time, it took me from probably a 2 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10. I was in so much pain. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. I felt like I barely could breathe. Um, my guy, he had told me he was on his way, but I was like in that like crazy moment where I was like, where are you? Why is it taking you so long to get to the hospital? Like, what are you doing? And I was so scary. And so I called my nurse and I was like, please give me the medicine. Like, I'm bawling. Like, my eyes are probably just like out of my head. Like, I was crying so hard. And one of the other nurses came in the room and she was just like, well, if you can't sit down, then that means the baby's probably like right there. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, so that freaked me out. And so my guy finally comes in with my regular nurse. And by this time, I'm like, it's like The Exorcist. Like, I'm like, ah. I was in so much pain because they tried to get the pain medicine going, which they never actually got going. Like, they hooked it up to the IV, but I don't know what was happening, if there was just like a kink or something to where we were like pushing the button to give me the medicine, but it never worked. So I was feeling everything. At this point, I was feeling the urge to push. It's only been like this entire process, what's happening right now, happened in less than 10 minutes. So I felt the urge to push, and 2 minutes later, she was out. Um, when I tell you, it was probably the most surreal experience that I've ever had in my entire life. I feel like I'm tearing up. I could not even imagine how it would feel. Even knowing that she would only live for, probably 30 minutes, I just, in my heart, I just felt like, oh, it's so hard to explain. Like, I gave birth to a human, like, she came out, and they had asked me before if I wanted to see her, if I wanted to wait until she was cleaned up and everything. And I'm like, no, give her to me right away. So they put her on my chest, and she was so tiny. I'm not going to traumatize you guys with any photos or anything like that. But she was so small. And she had the cutest eyes and little fingernails. And it was just, it was a blessing, but at the same time, it hurt. It hurt so bad. And I'm weeping. I'm crying. I'm like watching her take her little breaths with her little chest, and like I put my finger on her hand, and she was like moving her little fingers, and I just cried and I cried, and my guy was there, and it was such an emotional moment for me. I mean, I felt like I was an actual mom for the 10 minutes that I got to spend with her. We would have been able to spend more time, but so they had told me that, and this is a little TMI, but they had told me already that the baby might come out naturally, but sometimes when you're this early, you're not fully dilated, so the placenta might get stuck. So I had to have an emergency D&C. And I'm holding her in my arms, and I'm like trying to like appreciate this time with her, but it was so bad that my legs were shaking. I felt like it was just the worst pain I'd ever experienced. I was bleeding profusely, and like clots. It was nasty. I'm not going to go into crazy detail. I'm just going to say that, the doctors are pretty worried. They started calling down for a stat D&C. They were like, we need to get her into the OR now. We're probably going to need to do a blood transfusion. It was really scary. It was probably the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my entire life. One moment, I give birth to my daughter and she's beautiful, and then the next you're telling me that, I'm losing too much blood and we need surgery now. And it was just so scary. And then, so we go down to so they had to take her, which was in itself an emotional time. I just got her, and she's only going to live for a little bit. And I'm like, I just want to spend time with her, but what can you do? So they took her, and we rushed down to the OR, and man, it was the scariest thing. I feel like I'm about to cry now. It was the scariest thing. So I go from this hospital bed to this super tiny table, and I'm in so much pain I can't keep my legs together. And they're like, you're going to fall off the table. Close your legs, stop moving your arms. And I just couldn't. And they never did get the pain medicine to work. They never got anything to work. And not only that, I was like moving like from this bed to that bed. They were having to slide me over and do all this stuff. So that was added pressure to the pain I was already having. So it was just so terrifying and nothing that I had ever experienced before. So I felt like I couldn't control my limbs. I couldn't control anything. I have one of the best doctors ever. She was just like talking me through everything and just being like, you're okay. Like everything's great. You're doing great. And the nurses were like rubbing my shoulder, like, you got this. Like you're gonna, everything's gonna be okay. And I was just like freaking out. And I kept apologizing because I knew that I was like bleeding everywhere. And like, I felt like I was like peeing on myself. So I was just like, I'm so sorry. And they were like, it's okay. It's okay. And, so then the anesthesiologist comes in, and I'm like half asleep. I'm like, my eyes are low. I can't really see anybody. They've been trying to set me up on the table to go into surgery, and he tells me that since I ate, see, we didn't think I was going to go into labor that fast, so they let me eat. And then like an hour later, I'm giving birth. So since I ate, he told me they couldn't put me to sleep, so they would have to give me a spinal tap so that they can, numb me. So that was already scary. And he was just like, you have to be really still. Don't move, So they tried to have me roll forward. I couldn't. It was too much pain. It hurt so much. So they had to like roll me to my side and then like sit me up. And so I'm sitting in like a bowed position, and he's just like, be very still. And the pain is still so bad that I'm like shaking. And then I don't even know what it was. I was covered in just like a calmness. Like it was like I just shut my body down and I leaned over and I just was like perfectly still. Like I can't even tell you where that calmness came from. It was just like a wave that went over me, and I didn't feel any pain. I just bowed over. And so he did the spinal tap. I could barely feel it. And it from there on it went perfectly, you know. Um they did the surgery. I was like conked out, you know. Then they started giving me medicine, and I was like loopy for a while. And we went over to the room, and it's so funny because all the doctors, they, you know, the nurses in the OR, they all had these masks on, and I could see them. I could look into their eyes. You know, we made eye contact, you know, and they were like right there. They were like looking into my eyes, watching me like struggle, you know. And it's crazy because after I got out and I'm in recovery, and Tony comes down and he's next to me and I'm bawling, you know, I meet the doctor, the anesthesiologist comes in and he's like, "Hey, you did really great." And I didn't recognize his face because I never saw his face, but I knew his eyes. And that sounds so weird to say, but like he made eye contact with me and was like, "Do you know me? Do you remember me?" And I was like, "Your eyes look so familiar." He's like, "Yeah, I'm the doctor that gave you the anesthesia." And I'm like, "Wow, it's crazy." Because the nurses, they were all like, "You did so great." And it's like I could tell, I knew who they were. I had seen them before, um, but I'd never seen their full faces. So like anytime a nurse was like, "You did amazing, like it was really great to meet you," and I like looked her in her eyes and I'm like, "I know you, thank you, like thank you for helping me, like thank you for getting me through that," because it was the most terrifying experience I'd had. And it just, for them to be there and to just, I can't even explain it. My doctor Dana came in and she was just like, "You did amazing, we didn't have any issues, no complications, everything is gonna be fine." And I just cried. And then they brought the baby in, and she was in the cutest little outfit. And we took some pictures, which I won't show. But it was so surreal. It was such a crazy experience. Um, and my heart hurts, you know, it hurts because I love her, you know, I still do. I still feel that, you know, but I feel so different. Like, I didn't realize how heavy pregnancy made me until now. And I feel so light, and my belly is light, and my arms are light, and I feel like I can just move and I'm agile. Whereas just last week, I was like having to roll over and like struggle just to get out of the bed. I just didn't expect to feel so different so quickly. Um, Man, it's just, it's a hard thing to go through. It's a hard thing to deal with, and I did it. You know, I did it, and through. You know, it's something I'm gonna have to heal from. You know, and I've had so much support and love from my family, from my friends, from people that I don't even know. That it's amazing because it just feels like that love is just encompassing and it's surrounding, and you need that in your life. You need that every day. And you don't realize how much you need it until you feel alone and you feel, you know, like who else has been through this? You feel like it's just sad and it's upsetting, and you can just feel that other people care. You know, you feel that other people are there for you, and I just appreciate that so much. Anyway, so that was just a lot of mushiness. So they gave me this box, which I'm going to show you guys. Um, it says, "I will love you endlessly." And they gave it to me at the hospital. And I'll show you what it has in it. It's from Caleb Cares, and it's the infant loss support box, memory boxes for the baby. It's pretty amazing. Like, whoever came up with this, it's a great idea. So I'm gonna cover my hospital information, but they give you this little card, and it has all of her information. She was born on the 23rd at 3:15, and her weight and her little feet. Um, it's great. They also give you a stack, so they take pictures. You can take your own pictures, but they take pictures. I'm not going to show you, but they give you a stack of pictures of the baby, and they also give you a photo album, which I haven't unwrapped yet, but to put all the pictures in. That also says, "I will love you endlessly." Um, they give you like a little teddy bear, and they also give you the clothes that the baby was in. So this is her little hat, and she wore this. And they put her in this little, it's like a tiny envelope, you know, little crochet little outfit. Um, and then they give you just like little, you know, little care package, bath salts and little mementos, a teeny tiny Bible, and a notebook, and a little swaddling blanket for her. I don't know, whoever came up with that idea. It's probably the greatest thing I've ever received. And I really appreciate it. I do. You don't really think about, you know, how you're going to go home and how things are going to change. And you have this little box of keepsakes that are just sweet to have. It's just a sad thing, you know. It's something that I never thought that I would deal with again or have to deal with. You know, I never thought that I would lose a baby and then, you know, get pregnant again and feel so happy and so excited, and then I have to actually give birth to her and see her alive, and then to lose her again. It's just, it's the hardest thing, you know. But I just, I have to go forward. I have to find a way to figure this out and to be positive and to move on, you know. I have to let myself cry, and I have to let myself feel, and if I don't, then I'm not really doing the situation justice. I have to experience this. Um, so don't have any worries, you know. We are going to get through this. And I really appreciate you guys watching my journey. It's been a crazy thing, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that you guys are inspired, and I hope that if you're pregnant, you have a great pregnancy. And I hope that you hug and kiss your babies. And I hope that the future is bright, and that one day I'll be the mom that I want to be. Alright guys, thank you for watching.